Thank you, Puckett. We are heading in here to Misfits for Singularity. The top dogs in Misfits, or rabbits as their logo would have you believe, Bren, versus Singularity, which has been completely retooled.
I have no idea how this is going to play out. Well, actually, I've got a bit of an inkling. Misfits are most likely going to be winning this one convincingly. But Singularity, there's an upset potential there. You know, the analyst desk was making mentions to it, how, you know, they do have a few star players, few capable players on their team on the side of Singularity that they can take it to Misfits if they so wish. But will we actually see that ZP? Chances are probably not, but who knows? You know, anything can happen in a game of Overwatch.
Well, Overwatch, if nothing else, is a highly variable game. We have seen teams come out of nowhere and surprise us, but this would probably be the most surprising of all, where even though you do have good players joining the Singularity roster now, like Christopher, the hero of Team UK for the Overwatch World Cup, Misfits has been dominant. They have been the strongest team in Overwatch Contenders Season 1 for Europe, and for them, they would just like to continue rolling along, pick up a win here, and continue their streak of dominance.
I mean, if I was to listen to my heart, I would say that Singularity are going to win because they've got 2 British players on the team, whereas Misfits have 0. So by that logic, you know, we're probably going to be winning this one. Singularity, you know, technically are a British team. They're allowed to come out with a win here. But Nepal is the first map here. What are we going to be seeing from these teams? Most likely, I mean, Singularity a big unknown quantity in my mind, in the fact that they are most likely going to be running things they're comfortable with, but I'm not too sure. Like Smex as a player, he's a capable diva player nonetheless, but is he really going to be sticking with the Roadhog here? I don't want to be cheated out of anything here. Are we really going to be seeing this?
No. The answer is no.
The answer is no.
And also, to your previous note, I will say that if they were playing cricket right now instead of Overwatch, I would absolutely be in the tank for Singularity. But now, both teams...
No one even likes cricket in the UK. What are you talking about, ZP?
Hey, man, I just know what I know, which is not much at all. But we're heading into game right now. Misfits heading on to the point. Singularity contesting. We'll see just what goes on here as Misfits already pushing Singularity back a bit. Singularity being a little bit more hesitant. They have to heal up Smex.
Yeah, the positioning advantage by Misfits is gained right now. They're just playing the point out pretty nicely. You see Logic's just looking for an opportunity. Smex is so close to getting demeched, and he will eventually get popped out of there. And they follow up with the kills off the back of it. So pretty standard stuff by Misfits, just literally waiting for the poking and prodding. And they do manage to just, with overwhelming authority, demolish the Singularity side.
That was just a very strong mechanical win, where what we saw from Singularity, they got to the point, saw Misfits already on the point, waited a little bit away, and then they just sort of died the Misfits there. They didn't really take initiative really at all.
Look at Logix. This could be so sick. Did they realize this? He's got the pulse bomb. Okay, the pre-fire was there, but regardless, they do realize they're on the move as it stands. This good orb going to be placed down. They see a few ults online for Misfits. Soundbar is going to be committed by them to try and prolong this fight into it. Gill's going to be traded by both sides. Logic still holding on to this pulse bomb for now. Will get the demech in the end there onto Smex, which means no more defense matrix for this fight. Now we see the Transcendent ZP as they take the fight further in.
Transcendence comes in here for Misfits. Don't really know if it was needed there. I will say credit where credit is due to the Misfits to build up the Transcendence and barrier that quickly. Oh man, the stalling that is going on right now. But still for Misfits, they've built up ultimates incredibly quickly here. The upside here for Singularity though is that they do have both support ultimates up, so Misfits, if they did overcommit a bit there, they might get punished rolling into this next fight.
They indeed did, as you mentioned, use both their support ults. Nothing to really stop Fisher now from moving in with the Dragon Blade. He's going ham right now. Already picked up 2 kills. Can he get the 3rd? Yes, indeed he can. Still to Vic, moving in, regardless of his own Dragon Blade. And the kills are flowing in the side of Misfits right now. Pulse Bomb will also be committed there onto the side of Smex to try and get the demech. They will finally clinch this one out. And Misfits still, even though they had no support ults, still coming out on top.
Well, the thing that was really strange there is that for Singularity, they invested the Dragon Blade, but they didn't open up with any of their support ultimates, and while they'll still have the advantage going to this next fight here, Bren, they could have flexed it in the last fight to take control. Now they have to win this fight, otherwise the round is lost.
Yeah, this is it, do or die. Self-destruct comes out from them, still 95% and counting. Poppy Fresh, the new man on the field, going to be trying to get that overtime ticking over. Indeed he will. So off the pulse bomb as well, no kills on either side. Sends out the pulse bomb, does get the demech, I believe. Swoosh might actually fall as well. And this is looking pretty good for Singularity right now off the back of it.
And it had to look good for Singularity, right? Where they had the Transcendence, Misfits didn't have it. They invest pretty much everything they have here to push Misfits out, and it will be leading to a quick recap here in overtime. Unfortunately for Singularity, they're going to have to win every fight here from here on out, otherwise Misfits will be taking the round. And I gotta say, Bren, Logic has that pulse bomb up and ready.
He does indeed. Not only that, Misfits also almost have both their support ults available to them, whereas Singularity ended up committing both of them in that previous fight. So realistically, Misfits now going to be definitely going to be the ones to win this one out. Logic has the pulse bombs. Looking for, was that a stick? I don't know. I think it just clipped the barrier, but that was almost beautiful by him, and somehow he falls to Smex' self-destruct.
Smex right now going to open up the self-destruct. That puts Misfits a bit in the hole. They still have the Transcendence if they want to invest, and they do.
That's
it's
late.
a little bit surprising. They were down 3 people already, but Tvik says, no, I got this. The blade is out. Moving to the back line, and Tvik did say he has this. He was a liar because he got absolutely nothing out of that, aside from a little bit of humiliation from D.Va at the end.
That's a ridiculous waste of ultimates from the side of Misfits. They, you know, Zupe ended up using a Transcendence super late into that fight when it was already lost, and Tvik ended up committing the Dragon Blade because he thought he could clinch it out, but he just got absolutely juked around the pillars and couldn't find a single target. That is a big waste. In Singularity, they now have an ult advantage here, ZP.
I wouldn't blame Tvik there. I think it's a case where Zupe used the Transcendence and Tvik just said, all right, I'm going with it. But speaking of going with it, there's the barrier and Misfits roll in. It's a quick strike. 2 kills coming up immediately, and they're not stopping here yet. Fisher comes out the Dragon Blade into the back, trying to equalize, and there's a barrier from Singularity, so this is more even than Misfits might like here, and in fact, it is Singularity starting to bring this back. 4-on-4, Fisher under pressure, Swoosh under pressure in turn though, and Singularity might actually hold on. 82% to 99, Bren. They might actually be bringing this back, but Logic's, he's an X factor.
Yeah, Logic's has got something to say about that. When the pulse bomb comes out, Kelix will fall, not before picking up a few more plays of his own. He's a one-man army as he's taking out absolutely everybody on the Singularity roster right now. Destroying them, the cap almost going their way. Singularity just get a few more men on the point. Christopher gets booped off. In the overtime, they actually get the recap on the side of Misfits, and with the player advantage, Christopher tries to stall this one out with a Primal Rage, but I think it is too little, too late. Transcendence from Misfits as well. Zupe will try and basically stall this one out, get the heals going. Round number 1. Most likely, I mean, I'm calling this right now, but I mean, the players are just stalling on, they're just staggering on. This is most likely going to be curtains here for Singularity.
This is an interesting round because realistically speaking, it shouldn't have been as close as it was. Misfits was in firm control of the round pretty much the entire time. And then you had that really strange fight where Misfits was down 3 players. Zupe invested the Transcendence, Tvik followed up with the Blade, and they got nothing out of that investment. Where if Misfits had simply held on to those ultimates and used them the next run, they probably would have been able to finish that out much more convincingly and much more quickly.
Still, they come out on top with the round win, regardless of that. But yeah, as you mentioned, a little bit too close for comfort maybe for Misfits, as they are pretty much the favorites now, I think, for first seed in EU, at least when it comes to Contenders Season 1. Now, moving into this one, we're going to be going into Sanctum. Sanctum, normally you do see sometimes some different compositions, but both teams are going to be sticking with this 2-2-2 dive composition, exactly the same across the board, both running the double hit scan with the Tracer and the Soldier 76.
And the reason why you see the 76 come out in this stage in particular is that's very good for the long sight lines you have in Sanctum. You use it to apply pressure to the other team from afar, and when you're not immediately diving in, it can give your team an edge for when you do eventually dive in. So right now, both teams just trading out. Swoosh though getting isolated a bit here onto the side.
Oh, Christopher's so weak. Surely he can bring it down. No! Swoosh gets booped off. Oh, there's your boop of the week, Boopasaurus, man. Smex getting that one off the back of it. Goodness me. And that is a great entry pick to set things up. Singularity now can just take their time and try and play off it. Dante across the map brings down Logic's.
And that had very little to do with the player advantage there. That was Logic's just poking to the back line, and he got a fistful of Dante in response. So Singularity, from the boop to the good Zenyatta play there, able to get first control here in the Sanctum.
Here we have it. Vic has his tactical visor. Ready and waiting, just patiently playing with the rest of his team as it stands, waiting for the right time to strike. Now Singularity are playing super defensive, but Misfits, they want to go in, they want to initiate. Transcendence will get forced out by Dante, trying to keep them alive, but Vic somehow still ends up finding a kill in the midst of this one, ZP.
Fisher was just out of the Transcendence, and he paid for it dearly. He's out of the fight early, but we see the difference that Christopher makes. Was able to leap in and isolate Tvik, but oh no, even while he's in the back line, Misfits was able to recap. This will signal a full reset here for Singularity.
Or Logic's maybe biting off a little bit more than he can chew. Tries to go for the kill there. Maliton ends up resetting off the edge in the Baby Diva form. Still, Logic's in control of the point, just playing around with the rest of his team. But now, realistically, both teams are relatively equal when it comes to the ult advantage. Both teams have a support ult to use the sound barriers if they choose to commit it. But right now, Singularity, the later they commit this sound barrier, the better it's going to be for them.
All right, Misfits right now leaping in. Singularity have to give this a little bit of space, and they do. You see a lot of fighting going in underneath the point right now, and you see Smex getting demech'd here early on, and Misfits just playing the slow, letting Singularity roll into them and just punishing the dive, and it's very clean. Good, solid mechanical play that wins this fight right now for the Misfits.
It's not bad by Singularity at the end of the day. I mean, they used the Primal Rage to force out the sound barrier. I'd consider that a pretty good trade in terms of ultimate efficiency, and now Singularity, they can initiate in with this sound barrier, and if they so wish, they can follow up with the Transcendence to retake this. Whereas Misfits are only really sitting on Zupe with the Transcendence. He's about 25% away from getting this one himself. Now, the question is, Singularity, how do they approach this? Because they're trapped in. You can see they want to initiate in with the sound barrier, want to try and take the fight straight to them.
The answer is they go straight up the gut, but Logix is there. Punishes Christopher on the side, and now blinking to the back. A Zenyatta in his sights, going for the supports and really distracting Singularity as the rest of Misfits rolls right in from the front. They get the kills they're looking for. Misfits, one fight away from taking the round and taking the map.
Now, Misfits, they're going to be super happy with that one because not only did they make them use the sound barrier, but they also came out on top in the fight. So they're still in control of the point. And Misfits are potentially seconds away from winning map #1 against Singularity here. Only got a few more seconds to go. They need to get onto the point here. Singularity need to get a body onto the point. They do manage to contest it, and the overtime will tick down here. Tvik now wants to commit to Tactical Visor, wants to move in for the kill, trying to put in a bit of damage. It's getting negated by the Transcendence here, ZP, but will it be enough here as the kills are traded?
Logix right now gets back into the fight from the backline, is already picked off too. Tvik under pressure, will he fall? Not quite yet, able to shake the pressure as Logix cleans up his pursuers. Great teamwork coming from those two there, and Misfits going to take this last fight rather decisively to make map #1, going to the Cartoon Rabbits.
Pretty successful stuff, pretty quick stuff as well. I think that second round in particular, Misfits maybe just shaking off a bit of, just a bit of a warm-up, bit of misuse of ultimates, get it out of their system early, and now they're looking forward into the rest of the games. But definitely a result nobody was really not expecting from this. Singularity, as the analyst desk mentioned many times before, they're a new roster. They've been put together. Kellex is the only surviving member of the Singularity roster coming into this and staying with the team. So a completely new slew when it comes to players. And Misfits, obviously, the favorites when it comes to EU contenders.
So we know that Misfits were favored going into this, and them winning this first round, not too much of a surprise. But some low-hanging fruit here, Bren, and a good way to show some national pride. How much of a beast is Christopher?
I mean, not too much because he lost, but he's a good player nonetheless. Don't get me wrong, Christopher. The man can trash talk as well. I can always rate that in a player, but he is he's a decent player. But the thing we need to really understand is that Singularity, they brought this roster together in 5 hours. This is a team that's just come together simply because there was a slot available with Singularity, and they're playing against the potential winners of Contenders Season 1. I don't think anyone can contest that. And Misfits are looking like the favorites.
So another way of phrasing this, perhaps, is that this is sort of all upside right now for Singularity, I would say, where there's not a lot of pressure on them.
Yeah.
But if they do well, not only can they look well as a team, but it could be a good promotional tool for some of their players right now, where if they have a good showing, you sort of think more long-term here, I'd say.
Yeah, long-term, especially with like the Overwatch League. You got to be thinking, coming into this, you want to be showing what you're capable for as a player. That's why this is, kind of important for players like Poppy Fresh coming into this for Singularity, right? Because he played for the team. What was it? What was the team called in Contender Season 0? Was it Cyber Athletes?
Esporters Cyber Athletes.
Esporters Cyber Athletes. That is a fantastic name, by the way. But yeah, and he's sort of like this unknown quantity coming into this, and this is really his time to shine. This is his stage to show what he's capable of for all these players on the side of Singularity.
Also, I just think Poppy Fresh is one of the most marketable names we have ever had.
It's fantastic.
I mean, he's popping, he's fresh, but actually, now that we're on the topic, he did have somewhat of a muted Tracer game, I would say, in the last round.
I mean, I can't really comment on his Tracer play because he was going up against Logix, and Logix was absolutely popping off that game. He was destroying time and time again. But I got to say, in terms of name value, he's definitely up there. I think I'd rate him alongside Dogman and also Rage of Tofu. Fantastic names that we've seen over the course of Overwatch.
Dogman. So many things you can do with that name. All right, so we are rolling into Numbani right now. It will be the Misfits on the defense first, and really, you take a look at the setup here. It seems pretty standard, Bren. Perhaps the only part that sometimes varies from time to time in these 2-2-2 defenses that we're seeing the Ana over the Zen.
Yeah, you do see it quite often when it comes to Numbani first defense, mainly because the high ground advantage you have when it comes to the Numbani defense. You can basically sit your Ana player in this exact position where Zupe is standing right now. You can get good line of sight angles to heal your teammates multiple times. And if you do get dove upon, you've got your team to peel for. You can just back off straight into the streets and you can try and get a more defensive positioning there. But Singularity going to be opting for a 2-2-2 dive composition. Fisher this time will be playing the Genji.
All right, Singularity, we'll see how they approach this first point right now. So far, it looks like they might be just taking this up the gut. Nothing crazy going on the side. Instead, going straight up. Dante looking for the early Zenyatta picks, and there's the dive. They're going to go straight up over the top, but Christopher, the target of choice, immediately taken down. And that might be the signal to back out now if you're Singularity.
And there's the signs of Singularity being a little bit, uncomfortable with this composition, a little bit uncomfortable with the team play, because Christopher just sort of dove in by himself there. He didn't really have the backup for him. He is back into the fight now, though, and still we see Morello is still alive somehow. Good bio grenade from Misfits.
It's not just that he's still alive, he got a tick there. They just ignored him. Poppy Fresh was near the payload, and Singularity somehow bought time. They don't back out after losing one. Misfits was tentative on punishing them, and oh my goodness, Singularity might be bringing this in their favor. I don't really know how this is happening so far, but Misfits, they're going to double down at the barrier.
It's like you said, Misfits, they're a little bit too patient, a little bit too cocky maybe, but Poppy Fresh just popping off here. The post bomb was laid down. Tavik ends up falling already. They've got 3 ticks on the board here, and they're looking for more almost. They're going to be getting this final tick just as it kicks off. And everyone has fallen on Misfits. ZP, you're looking dumbfounded. You're sat here, you stood here with your arms crossed just thinking, what the hell has just happened?
I am. I'm sitting here going, that shouldn't have happened. You got the first pick off. You've been doing well. And they just let Singularity sit there and poke at them. And it wasn't even all of Singularity. Poppy Fresh was just crouching near the payload for part of it. So they could have taken what was effectively a 6-on-4 at one point. And Misfits was really scared of Singularity. I don't know. Maybe Christopher turned into a ghost and haunted them.
The craziest thing as well is that they committed Zebasai's Sandbar, and now they want to initiate in. Misfits going for this sort of eco play where they're going to be using the nano boost there onto Swoosh to try and get a few kills, and it is paying off for them. Poppy Fresh will fall. Christopher tries to equalize it out. He's going to be using his Primal Rage, but still, Misfits coming out on top. Are they going to be able to knock him off? Christopher, he's going for the kill, but has to back off eventually. Losing these 2 players means this fight is in Misfits' favor.
Misfits right now definitely re-solidifying a bit. They have numerical advantage here on the point. And even though the self-destruct is going to take down Swoosh, Misfits will be able to hold on here for at least a little bit longer while Singularity waits for their players to regroup. So even though Misfits' first defense on point A was a little bit mystifying, it does feel like they've gained a bit of stability here. However, Bren, you take a look now. Singularity, they can move in with the sound barrier and punish Misfits for being this fraud. And there we go.
Here we have it. Soundbar committed. They want to move in. Poppy Fresh once again picks up the entry kill. Christopher wants to follow it up. Swoosh now going to be eating a ton of damage here. And Logic's will, they're just crumbling under the pressure. Misfits cannot afford to hold that one when they didn't have any ults to work off. Essentially that entire fight was pretty much just one off Singularity having the better ult advantage.
And the thing about that particular stage in Numbani is that you're not really getting a lot of cover as a defense in that point. So if you don't have a support ultimate up and the other team does, they can just use that and roll into you, which is what we saw there. But now, Bren, Poppy Fresh might be channeling his inner secret agent. He's waiting, he's hoping. We'll see what he does.
He wants it, he lets it loose, and the sound barrier by Misfits just saves Zebasai's life. That was critical, but Fisher wants to move in with the Dragon Blade regardless. Will claim 2 kills off the back of it. No goes for Zupe. Doesn't have the Dragon Blade to support him, but the deflect kill will kick in, and he does find the picks straight off the back of it.
It seemed like Misfits was trying some really cutesy flank engage there, but what happened is that Singularity went in on part of their force in an uneven number situation. They got the early pickoffs, and that pulse bomb wasn't entirely wasted. It got rid of the sound barrier, and it set up for the early kill.
One thing I just need to point out here is look at this time on this third checkpoint. 4 minutes. Singularity have 4 minutes against Misfits. What in God's green earth is going on right now? Fisher looks to go for the backlines. The Swift Strike combo not quite kicking off for them. Now we see some ults being used here, ZP.
Goldenboy wants royalties. That's his phrase. To Vic right now. The tag visor coming out. Finds Fisher immediately in this fight. And now Misfits, this is where they can use the terrain advantage of last year to their advantage. even though Singularity got through with a lot of time remaining on the clock, it is very difficult to get through last here because, why? You see Logic's coming around the flank, plenty of room to work with. That's part A. And part B is just as you turn the corner, Misfits has very good sight lines to just punish you as you move in. Bren?
Yeah. Fisher, he wants to go for it. Now, this is an interesting play because he realizes Fisher was making the plays. He used the Dragon Blade, didn't have any ults to use. He switched back to Soldier 76, wasn't working for them, and now he moves to the Doomfist. Doomfist is super effective with literally 0 ults at all. He can just get these entry picks off very much immediately with his Rocket Punch, Seismic Slam into them, looking for the opportunities. As I say that, he just feeds into them. But regardless, it is a good pick. I like it to try and break into this defense of Misfits.
Singularity, though, already down Christopher. This really hurts how much they can turn the corner. There's just a lot of poke pressure coming in from Tvik, who's in the back, and anytime they try and dive in deeper, they have Logics hitting them from the other side. So for Singularity right now, they have to decide, do they engage heavily on a dive and just sort of ignore Logics, go for the back, or do they punish Logics and play it a little bit slower? Either way, though, they do have 2 support ultimates here. It will be a bit of an ultimate showdown between these teams as we roll into the next fight.
It's all going to be who can use their ults in a superior way in this team fight. In this next team fight, Pulse Bomb gets out. Does not get the kill there. Logic was searching for an entry there to try help his team out, but still, both teams just slow sieging it up. And Fisher will get the D-Mech down to Manhattan. This could be big. Sound Barrier now to equate it out, see if they can take it any further forward. Self-destruct will not find any kills here just yet, ZP, but the fight continues.
Both teams have dropped the beat, and now they're both going to pass into the Iris. The Zenyatta mating dance underway. Singularity, though, from above. Meteor Strike heading down, and no, doesn't quite finish up Tvik, but they're chasing Tvik really far right now. Tvik's just running away, making space, and while they're chasing Tvik, they're not pushing the payload, and they're certainly not dealing with Logics.
Oh my goodness, how is this actually happening? Fisher will actually get the kill onto Zebasai just in the end there with the Seismic Slam, but other than that, Misfits, again, have come out on top. A lot of ultimates were used by both teams. Both support ults were used. I think across the board, they used a ton to try and defend that one. But again, Misfits have come out on top. Now Singularity have got the very difficult task of trying to attack this with only 1:30 on the clock.
I gotta say, by the way, Bren, I feel like it's a really just terrible feeling when you get outrun by an old man like that. Like, he's one of the oldest people on the roster.
He's got cybernetics, you know. He's got the juice.
Whatever.
He's got it built into him. Don't you worry about him.
Singularity, though, they are engaging, but Fisher goes down immediately. Tvik has been focusing him hard every time he tries to leap in, and already the crux of Singularity, they're done, and so is Christopher as he just jumps right off.
Yeah, another reset fight there for Singularity, and honestly, this has worked out terribly for them because now Misfits are sitting on a Sound Barrier with Zebasai. Zupe almost has the Transcendence, Swoosh, Manhattan. Absolutely everyone has got ultimates online for Misfits that they can just stall this one out now for the next 50 seconds. So Singularity, they've got to perform a miracle. Fisher makes a switch off the Doomfist in the final moments, wants to go onto the Genji.
And this is a little bit interesting to go to the Genji here because he's not really guaranteed to get the Dragon Blade, which you do really want to clear out this last area. But in any case, Singularity now approaching. They're going to drop the self-destruct right to the back, making a bit of space, but not getting any kills. And now Misfits, they counter-engage. The barrier is out, but it doesn't hit Zupe early on, so they're down a player. And Singularity, they smell some blood in the water here, Brad.
Yeah, this could be doable for them. Fisher's still alive. The Samurai are going to be supporting him here as he tries to build up his Dragon Blade moving into this one. Swift strikes forward again. Is going to get knocked back for the time being, but now the Transcendence. Singularity looking to just take this one forward with superior heals. Superior meets them head on as well. So once again, Misfits coming in with a superior ult advantage, and the kills are flowing in for them. Now Fisher finally with the Dragon Blade. Is it going to be enough? He can't quite find the kills. He's trapped in the corridor, and this will be, as the overtime ticks down, most likely Misfits getting the good defense.
Misfits right now, respawn advantage, player advantage, and Singularity, they are done. No more players left to get onto the payload. Overtime will tick down. And Bren, let's reflect here for a moment. Singularity had over 4 minutes when they got to the last point.
Yeah.
But we saw Misfits use the defensive advantages provided to a team on last. Very good positioning, Tvik in the back, Logic's flanking all the while, and it kept Singularity very much discombobulated for most of that last push.
So Misfits also had better ult economy, better ult rotations when it came to defending that final point. They were a bit iffy when it came through the streets phase and whatnot. But when it got to that final checkpoint, like you rightfully mentioned, you know, it is much harder to defend, or much harder to attack, I should say. So Singularity, you know, it was an uphill battle, quite literally through that choke point. It's an uphill battle to try and fight your way through and find an opening. Misfits just capitalizing off all the mistakes of Singularity means that, you know, they can just defend it. They rotated the ults well, as I've already mentioned. Fisher, he tried to stagger things out with a few changes, a few switches up. You know, at one point he changed from Genji to Soldier's MT6. When that didn't work, you know, the Genji didn't work. He switched to Doomfist. Again, he was having troubles with that. I guess showing signs that he's not too comfortable with this new hero that's been released.
Well, I think you bring up an interesting point here, which is somewhat hard to judge even as broadcasters right now, which is that when we see Doomfist get played now, do we judge the Doomfist if he doesn't get much getting done, where we go, he's just not comfortable in the hero? Or is Misfits doing a very good job of focusing him down? Because I feel like here is a little bit of both, where as soon as Fisher was leaping in, he was immediately getting focused by Tvik, who says, okay, that's a Doomfist. I am going to rain pulse rifle munitions into you for as long as I can.
Another good point to make on top of that is the fact that maybe it's just the fact that Singularity weren't supporting Fisher on the Doomfist well enough. You know, normally Doomfist is run in conjunction with a Zarya. Often you've got the defense matrix to try and support you in. Maybe Smex just isn't used to playing, you know, alongside a Doomfist player. Maybe that's really the issue. It's hard to really judge, as we've already said. But now we're getting into it. The sides have switched. It's going to be Singularity on the defense. Again, going for a similar composition that they like in the past. And Misfits going to be meeting them head on with the exact same thing.
Key difference here is that Singularity not wanting to run the on defense here early on. Instead, going to be going to Zenyatta. That gives him the Discord Orbs and a little bit better presence in killing tanks, but less healing throughput here early on. As the Misfits, Bren, they're also not going for subtlety. They're going straight up to begin with, and they will contest this high ground.
Misfits going to be trying to take control of that top left area. As you can see, they've already rotated around, and Smex gets demech. That could be big for them. No more defense matrix to eat up these pesky, pesky bullets from them now, and they're just going to start to play the point out, see if they can get a kill or two. Almost Logix was very, very close, but he's got that Discord Orb on him. Has to play patient for the time being.
Christopher was able to get out with a little bit of health, and now Singularity might be bringing this back. It could come to haunt them that they did not finish Christopher there, as they're a little bit revamped here. Respawns are coming in, and they're able to push the Misfits back. So, big contrast here between the defenses on point A, where Singularity being highly aggressive, versus Misfits that were anything but on their defense.
Yeah, this is interesting as well. Now, like Misfits, they can move into this one. Singularity did get a few picks off there, and Dante now almost has his Transcendence as a result of it. So pretty much head-on meeting each other with a lot of ultimates they've all got. Fisher, I don't know if he realizes this, but if he goes aggressive to Dragon Blade now, it could be absolutely brilliant for them. I don't know if he realizes the Misfits don't have the support ults, but regardless, they're going to be going in now.
Well, there's the Blade, but the Transcendence comes up just in time. Zupe immediately using it here early on, but Logix has already fallen, so Tvik is really going to have to be the hero here for Misfits.
Bobby Fresh.
Yeah, Bobby Fresh. Got one, but two supports, and if Tvik had any idea of using the Blade there, can't use it now. Misfits must fully reset. They're actually down to their final 2 minutes.
And Manaton's been staggered out. This is ridiculous. What is going on here? Straight up, Misfits using the Transcendence, and it just wasn't working out for them. Yes, they traded it for Fisher's Sound Barrier, but Singularity, again, are still holding on. However, Misfits now, they've got a Dragon Blade, they've got a Pulse Bomb, they've got a Sound Barrier. Tons of utility to work with here to try and take this point now from Singularity.
There were times in the last meta when we said it was the barrier and Blade meta. Well, Misfits needs to channel that now, where Zebosai wants the barrier and Tvik wants the Blade. And the Blade is out for Tvik. He's in the backline, but zoned out by Christopher in the middle of nowhere. That Blade will do nothing. However, Misfits has still gotten one kill here early on, and that might be enough as they start hunting down the remnants. Christopher, you are in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I mean, with this, I mean, it is essentially cleanup duty for Misfits now. Just got to find these follow-up players. Manaton as well brings down Calix into the back lines there. One quick shuriken from Tvik will mean that they do manage to get this point finally. Minute 20 on the board, so not as much time as Singularity had moving through these street phase, but still ample enough to really get the ball rolling.
Something that's worth knowing, though, is that Misfits did buy a decent amount of time in second in the last round. So if Singularity is unable to do that, which oftentimes teams don't do well on second, Misfits could actually equalize the time that both teams had for last. So don't think that Misfits is out of this by any stretch of the imagination. There's still plenty of time, especially by Nambani standards.
Absolutely. We'll see what Singularity choose to do and choose how to proceed with this. You know, Fisher has just got his Dragon Blade up. We'll see if he decides to use it. Again, Misfits, they've got no support ults, and Fisher, he wants to go into the back lines. He does find Zupe. Can he get anything else? Yes, it's a 2K for him. Excellent stuff. Now Swoosh tries to peel into the back lines, but it's too little too late. In fact, he opts to use his own Primal Rage. As a result of it, Smex will get demec'd up and most likely brought down. Indeed, he does, and Smex, I mean, Swoosh, he's on a mad one right now. He's going absolutely crazy with the rest of his team. They didn't care that Fisher just pulled out the Dragon Blade. They just peeled and dived onto their own backlines of Singularity.
Well, let's talk about how crazy that was, too, because Fisher got both supports down early on. Misfits had nothing keeping them sustained except for the pure primal fury of Swoosh, who was where he needed to be, got 2 kills, and was a big part of the remainder that Misfits got. Now Misfits could get in the second rather quickly, but Singularity, they're coming at the Transcendence.
They want to commit to this. They're going to be using the Transcendence, as you rightly mentioned there, to try and stall this one out. But now, Tvik with the Dragon Blade, he waited patiently, perfectly. Kellex will fall. Now he wants to go for Dante, who's managed to make his way into the back line somehow. Logix will clean up that kill there. Now Smek sends out the self-destruct. No kill's going to be claimed for him. Now the fight continues here. Fisher with the Dragon Blade rocks forward, finds another kill. How have Singularity turned this one when it was looking so good for Misfits?
My question is, how did Fisher get another Dragon Blade out that quickly? That was incredibly fast. He just used it in the last fight, and even though it wasn't successful, he did kill 2 supports with it there. However, Singularity, they have restabilized now. Yeah. They have a barrier up for this next fight, and they could actually delay Misfits out, not only for the next fight, but potentially hold on second here. This is rough for the Misfits.
This is so dangerous right now for them. You know, Misfits are the favorites, and they're going to be going in. Singularity, they use the sound barrier, they go into the backlines. Christopher used his Primal Rage, but he's already been brought down to a crisp. Misfits, with those 2 picks, self-destruct sent into the backlines, won't find a kill, but a point now will start to get played here, ZP.
Singularity has let Misfits back into this. The barrier was not great. They did not engage at the same time. They let people get picked off, and Misfits might be winning a fight right now that they have no rights to win because of an over-ambitious engage by Singularity. And yes, Misfits will be getting the second, and they have 2 minutes and 38 seconds to get to that yellow box of victory.
A lot of time to try and push this one up, especially when Singularity do not have the ults to try and stagger them out. You know, they used the sound barrier, they used the Primal Rage in that previous engagement. Singularity tried to hold on to it, and it was a cutesy play, but it just did not quite work out for them. Now, Misfits, what is the game plan for them? Logix has the Pulse Bomb. He's looking for targets.
He has the Pulse Bomb, he's going to the back line. And Singularity, they haven't swapped to a 76 yet, so they're not entirely utilizing advantages of the body. But here we go. The pressure underway. Kellex under assault from the tank, Tracer combination, and both supports are down. A beautiful play from Logix and Swoosh. Longtime teammates of Movistar Riders, flexing their synergy now on Misfits as they take that fight easily. Singularity, they're now in trouble.
Absolutely, they're in the danger zone. I mean, Misfits are just flexing their muscles at this point. Are they even going to be able to get somebody onto the point? Logix says absolutely not. Going to be sticking Kellex in his own spawn. Now the ults are going to start to fly out to Vic. Very weak, 30 HP, has to back out of here. Going to be taking a lot of damage. The heals will come in, but Fisher says, no siree, get the hell out of those trees, and he's going to be bringing him down with 1 slice.
Singularity right now could very well bring this back. The self-destruct is underway. Into the air it goes. Will Misfits be blown up? No, but they do have to respect it. Singularity gets a bit of room right now, and this is scary here for Misfits. They're doubling down and investing, but it works out. The bomb takes down 2, and Singularity again on the back foot as Misfits double down onto the point. The Transcendence keeping them alive.
All up to Poppy Fresh, 1 man again against the world. He's got the entire Misfits roster to try and fight against, but it will not be good enough. And Misfits, it's going to be taking map number 2. No surprises there, but the real surprise, in my opinion, was the fact that Singularity, they took a fight to Misfits there. They took it to them hard. Like, there was honestly a chance that Singularity could have full-held them there and almost potentially taken a map. That is crazy to think about. This mixed team that was created in 5 hours on the side of Singularity, contesting with one of the best teams in EU, almost unheard of.
It's very interesting, too, because it sort of shows the potential that the squad may have, where I think that if you eliminate some of the errors they had with ultimates being used and weird situations and losing fights that normally a team should win, and a lot of that was due to the fact that they are a newer team, the coordination was a little bit lacking. If they could fix that going forward, there's real potential with this team.
That's what I mean. It was pretty much the only issue I think I could fault with them was the ultimates, you know, the rotation of ultimates. Misfits was superior because they're a much more long-standing team that have been working and scrimming together much longer. Coming into this, though, I mean, they definitely did put up a decent fight, I should say. And, you know, Singularity, I'm curious as to what they're going to be having in the next 2 maps, at least.
All right, well, to break down what we just saw from that Singularity squad, we're going to be throwing it to the desk and their shirts that are on the right way.